a serial entrepreneur who has built and sold multiple businesses, including most recently an agency for 40 million, reached out to me off the back of one of these YouTube videos. Join me in today's episode number 5, building a golf business, and I'll share with you more of what that very kind man had to say, as well as what we've been up to recently on the business. So I'm going to Preston, going to do a photo shoot, got a 2-hour drive, and I thought what better chance than to update you on what we've been up to. Let's speak a bit about Jordan. So Jordan is a serial entrepreneur, and now he helps founders, entrepreneurs with the systems that he's learned, and through the experience, the valuable experience that he's gained over the years of building these businesses. He now helps founders implement this. So he reached out and was very clear from the get-go that he's not interested in selling me anything, but he wanted to speak to me to give some advice and wanted to hear about what I've kind of got planned for the business. And I'm just so grateful. I'm sure he's a busy guy, but he took an hour out of his week to speak to me, and I'll share with you some of the nuggets that he left me with, which I think are so valuable for anyone building a service-based business. So the first thing that Jordan said, which I completely agree on, is if you're building a business, service-based business, the messaging is all about results. How can you bring results for your clients? So do clients care about video, photo and content? No, not really. Do they want to spend money on that? If it brings them results, if it brings them inquiries for their business, or if it brings downloads to their subscription app, or if it brings inquiries to a course that they're selling, whatever it is, if you can start building case studies on the results that you've been achieving for clients, that's what really matters. So you're not selling video and photo, you're selling through this content. We will drive leads for your business. We will drive inquiries, building you reach, building engagement, building trust. Ultimately, all these things are putting your business in the best possible position to increase sales. Are we fully dependent on improving sales for your business? No, because only you are the one that processes that sale. But can we drive leads to your business? Yes. I'll come back to that, but I actually caught up with a client of mine because I was inspired off the back of that call. And I just reached out to him because we filmed some content for him a couple of months ago. We put in the content strategy for him for his golf coaching business. And I just wanted to hear some feedback of like how he found the service, and then also did it drive results for him? Because ultimately that's what we want. And he said, Greg, first time working together, I wasn't really expecting that I would gain clients off the back of that initial content. But he said he did. Which is amazing. I'm so genuinely happy about that, thrilled for him, and it will make a perfect great case study. And he actually, when I was speaking with him yesterday, he said he wants to book in another shoot for September. And so that's reaffirmed exactly what Jordan was saying. You've got to show that you're generating results for these businesses. Second thing that Jordan said, which was really fantastic. So he said, if you want to scale a business, you have to treat service like it's a product. So you don't necessarily meet with a client and then you find out what it is that they want, and then you're trying to fit something around their needs. It's like you could, but it's very slow and not necessarily scalable. So we, Peak Golf Media, need to have the services in place that's already defined. This is what we do for you. These are the deliverables. This is what you can expect. And so it is then repeatable and almost like a product you're selling rather than an individual one-off project service. And then that helps make it scalable. Now, nugget number 3 was to have 3 offers, no more than 3, and also about having a niche. And so I think I've started the right journey in terms of having a sector as a niche, being golf. But you can have niches within a niche. And I've always been a bit hesitant because it feels like, oh, if I niche down so much, then am I going to put off other potential clients within golf? But it does make sense. Like, the more your messaging points to specific pain points of a client, then you've got a better chance of converting those. So that's given me food for thought, for sure. I've still got to go away, do a bit more research. I've organised a coffee with a golf coach of mine, because I would just like to validate this service with another golf coach and gather his feedback, find out, a bit more how I could help them. But I do want to reiterate, this business is not about Greg the videographer and Greg filming everything, because ultimately I like filming. I would like to film with a certain number of clients, but it's just not particularly scalable. And I enjoy managing projects and managing freelancers, overseeing things, looking at the bigger vision, maybe finessing some projects that get sent through from editors. So it's something I'm wary of. I don't want to kind of fall into the trap of being Greg the videographer, but Greg the founder and creative director, because I can teach people to film and photograph and edit, and chances are there's better creatives out there that could do a better job than me, while I focus on working on the business. But it's certainly something I need to do, work on the business more. I've now got some ideas to go away and think about. I've had some really good news. Side note, my wife is pregnant and we are expecting a little boy. So I'm absolutely over the moon. She's over the moon as well. And that baby is due in the new year. Now, I've wanted to have a fantastic year this year to really set ourselves up for next year. I do not want to raise a baby with uncertainty of the direction the business is going in. So I've got to set this business up over these next few months so that our positioning, everything is set, and then we can look into marketing in the new year. So I've never been more in a sense of urgency to try and grow this business, while also, I've got little bits that I can invest in things to help, such as using remote editors. But yes, landing pages will be a crucial thing that I need to work on. I'm really against AI imagery as well, but I feel like as a new business, there's certain images that I just don't have, that I might not necessarily have for a few months or a year. And so I might have to use either some AI images or some stock images just to give a visual element. No one likes to land on a page and just see like text after text after text after text. But yes, creating the landing pages, creating these core offers, and doing a bit more research. Jordan said about working with golf professionals, which, do they need it? Absolutely. I think there's a lot of golf professionals out there that are trying to juggle coaching their clients, but are kind of relying on word of mouth for referrals, or maybe they've got a picture up at the golf range of their service, but could they leverage their pricing and become like a well-known coach? Sorry, just concentrate on driving for a minute. Could they benefit from regular content across their social media? Absolutely. And I see some coaches, they have a good presence, they create a lot of their content, but others don't, and they find it a struggle, and it is hard to do your day job whilst also creating content around that. So if I could build an offer that helps these golf professionals drive inquiries for their business, and shout out to Jordan again, because this was his idea, but it happens to tie up nicely because I've been working with golf professionals this year anyway, so it could be quite a nice natural fit. So yeah, that's immediately what I am going to work on as I'm learning things in this process. If I can share it with you, because you want to build your own business, then anything I learn, I will definitely pass that on. Right, I thought I'd tell you, whilst I'm on this journey as well, what we've been up to lately. So last week I had the fantastic experience of going to Neffin Golf Course in Wales. Let me know in the comments if you've been there. I would genuinely love to hear what you've thought about it, because in my eyes it's one of the best golf courses I've been to. It was absolutely stunning, right next to the ocean. You've got tee off boxes on like literally the cliff edge. It was an absolutely beautiful day, like 24 degrees or something. Client was great. He reached out to me. It was a fairly low budget shoot, but as I've said, business is a bit messy in the first year, and I've wanted to build up the golf portfolio. So I agreed to it. It just essentially meant that we didn't have a full team. It was just myself there. And yeah, it was a fantastic day. I've been inspired already. I've got to go back and play there. I'm not actually an amazing golfer. That's part of why I love it. I love the challenge of trying to get better. But I have had a couple of lessons recently. I've got another one booked in for next week, trying to improve. As we all know, golf, the consistency is what's hard. And 1 minute I can hit a shot that lands 6 foot away from the pin on a par 3, and then I can take my next tee off shot on a par 4 and hit a driver straight into the woods. So it's you got to love the game, but very much still learning my individual golf game. And here's some of the shots that I captured on the day. I never want to be one of these people that begs people to subscribe. If you're enjoying the content and you want to, then feel free. If not, no worries. There's no pressure here. But yeah, if you want to see some of the footage that we've made for our clients, or get a glimpse of that kind of thing, then feel free to check us out on Instagram, Pete Golf Media. That would be appreciated. In terms of last week as well, we filmed with our regular client, Mind Caddy, producing YouTube content for them with Carl Morris. Another beautiful sunny day, just absolutely blessed to be what I'm doing. As mentioned in the previous video, I had that meeting with a corporate golf event. I thought the meeting went really well. I sent across what I thought was a really fair proposal. She did say that this time of year the decision maker is on holiday. However, it's been now a couple of weeks without an answer on that event. I've chased up multiple times since the last time. I've not heard anything. I think I'm going to chase one more time this week, and then if I don't hear back, then that's business, I guess. You win some, you lose some. It would have been a great event to work on. Fingers crossed I can still get it over the line, but if not, then we'll certainly be doing other golf corporate events in the future. Entrepreneurship can be tough, can be, a lot of people don't necessarily understand what goes into it. A lot of people will call you a dreamer, or won't really understand what you're about. They'll just be like, oh, just get a 9 to 5, climb the ladder. But I've just never been able to do that. I lasted 2.5 years. That's the longest I lasted in a job. But to hear someone say that he believes in your business and believes there's real potential kind of reaffirmed my own gut instinct of, I feel like this can be huge. I feel like golf since COVID has been booming because people just want to be outside. And there is now this modern audience of golf. And so I think it's a really exciting time in golf. I think it's really exciting for golf businesses to make the most out of social media. It's hard to predict where social media is going to go. If you listen to Elon Musk, he thinks that everything is going to be AI in 5 years and the apps won't even exist. But deep down in me, I think that people will always value authentic content. Like, we don't want to listen to robots. We want to hear real stories from real people. So I think content will always be around in some shape or form. And the last thing I'll say is, don't be afraid to push yourself out of your comfort zone. A couple of people that reached out to me, including Jordan, would never have happened if I didn't put myself out there on the internet. So grab that camera, hit record. You never know who you might meet. You never know what opportunities may arise. And you might just enjoy creating the content as well. So on that note, thank you so much